Hi everyone, welcome to Potluck Food Talks. Today we have a new episode of The Line. Have we already told all the stories we have to tell?
No way, we need to dig deep. There must be things that we've hidden away in the depth of our conscience.
We can talk about this place. You know which place? I mean, that place.
Which place? Give me a clue.
Xander, you will bleep this out.
Ah, yeah, the place with the foie gras and the... Yeah. No? Iconic, no? Foie gras and apple, right?
Xander, also take that out, please.
Okay. Now, if people know through that reference who we're talking about, then they deserve to know.
Yeah? No, I think that was an easy reference. But, I don't care, honestly.
Okay. The Spanish Robuchon, you mean?
Let's say this guy is French, okay? Just for neutrality. He's a French chef.
Okay.
3-star chef. And everybody talks about this place. I was actually going to go there, you know? And I was working at a restaurant. They were preparing a deal for me to go there. And I was doing prep one day and the head chef comes and asked me directly, you want to know the truth? And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Don't go there. That's the truth. And I didn't go there. I picked a different place, which was, I don't know if it was necessarily better.
Wait, tell me which place you chose over this place?
Campabas.
Oh, fuck. You're choosing between really, really shit and extremely shit. As in treatment-wise, obviously amazing restaurants.
Yeah, of course. That's the thing with this place. There are amazing restaurants and amazing chefs, and they have been game changers for sure. No discussion about it.
Yeah, 100%.
But the stories that you hear about these places that, 40 people sleeping in a basement with one toilet.
Some of the worst stories I've ever heard.
Yeah, the one toilet where you can see the feet of whoever is using that toilet, what the fuck? In the basement of the restaurant so that you wake up in the dark and you go stairs up to the kitchen. What the fuck is that, man? And then you have tasks like cleaning the chef's car or washing the chef's dogs.
No way. Really?
Yeah, man. But it's so legendary because I've been traveling and everywhere I go, I meet people that have gone to this restaurant because it's super famous. And there are always again and again this kind of stories, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. I
was actually once invited to go to this place tour-wise, to visit the kitchen and know the place.
I'd love to do that.
And I didn't. No, I was like, no, I don't want to go there,
Yeah.
The staff meal is another famous thing about this place.
Oh, yeah?
That they have separate tables for the workers and the trainees. And the trainees eat whatever, the dog food, whatever, pasta with salt.
Oh, man.
And the workers, they have, a leg of ham, wine, separate table, of course, and they're chilling.
Of course. That's horrible. That's really, really horrible. When we were out and about in town one day, I used to work at a restaurant that was in direct rivalry with this restaurant, also because the trainees lived in the same town. And one time we were out drinking, we got into a group argument with these guys that almost broke out into a fist fight. It was sort of all the trainees from one restaurant and all the trainees from another, like a 80s gangster movie, just shut the fuck up, piece of shit.
Would you have utensils during the fight? Here's my extra large whisk.
Yeah. I had easy siphon caps on my fingers, and I would go click, 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 click.
But I've also heard super old stories of this place, 20, 30 years ago. Things have you got, I think you have told me stories that you have gotten one of those where a station chef comes and says, you think your station is clean? Your station looks like shit.
I had that in the first restaurant that I worked in. Yeah, it was horrible.
Look at now. This doesn't look clean at all.
Yeah, that was horrible. I remember being an apprentice and we had to sign off with the head chef and it's very famous Michelin star chef. And we would go up there in our fucking jackets and aprons And he'd be like, you're done for the day? And we'd be like, yes, chef, yes. Did you clean the prep kitchen? And we'd be like, yes, chef, of course, chef. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go check. And he just walks to the elevator because there was an elevator on the side of the kitchen. He presses the button. He's waiting for the elevator. And while he waits, the sous chef is just running, runs down the stairs and runs into the prep kitchen. And we follow him, because we're like, what the fuck is going on? And he just goes to like a big container of flour, like a, 20 kilo container of flour. And he just starts, and this is a big prep kitchen, it's wide tables, and he just like starts taking handfuls of flour and just chucks it everywhere, just in a wide arc, like he's dusting a piece of pastry. And the whole kitchen's just covered in flour. And we're just standing there looking at this maniac, flinging flour around, just like defeated, and then he's just like, and the head chef comes down and he just like walks in. He sees his sous chef covered in flour. Oh, like it's so clear what just happened. And he looks at the kitchen, he looks at us and he's like, well, looks like shit. Better clean it again. And it just goes back up.
What a fucking idiot.
Yeah. But that same restaurant, if you like fucked up sometimes, the head chef would make you clean the walk-in freezer, minus 20 degrees. Big ass freezer that you can walk into with shelves on either side. And there were special down jackets that you put on to go into the freezer, even just to get something, because it was just blasting cold. And he would make you clean that freezer and reorganize it without a jacket.
Oh, but that's like,
I don't know if I told that story before, actually.
No, that's actually quite dangerous.
Yes, it was really fucked up.
I remember during my apprenticeship years, the thing when, have I told this before? Like the absence of critic is enough praise. Have you heard that before?
Of course. I don't believe in it.
No, me neither. But like in this, I would call it toxic restaurant culture. There is this thing that nobody will praise you. Nobody will say, oh, this is really tasty.
Yeah.
They will only tell you this is really shit when it's not really tasty. And it's kind of like a modus operandi among some kind of chef culture. I remember in the first place that I worked, I remember I had a ceviche, and when I would bring my ceviche to point, the chef would come, he would taste it, and he would give me the bag and go somewhere else. And I was like, oh my God, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, totally. You know where this was really prevalent? In Japan. When I was in Japan, and I was the same with all the time. My head chefs, like my superiors or my sous chefs or my chef de parties would do that with me. I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, nailed it, Or if they look at a cut that you made, and they'd be like not even say anything. And I remember sitting in a kaiseki restaurant where you have a counter and you see all the chefs behind the counter. And I remember there was this one young chef, and everything that he would do, he's basically just assistant to the head chef who's doing all the main work. But he would do like little things. He would mix little sauces together in glazes and like prepare things for the chef. And I remember seeing a really cool moment, or what I thought was a really cool moment, because the chef, he would like, he wouldn't yell or anything, but he'd be like very quietly telling this guy to fix something or like fix it himself. The guy would prepare something. He would taste it. He would add a little bit of this, add a little bit of that, etc. But then there was this one moment where I'm just going to call him an apprentice. He handed him something and the chef tasted it and he thought for a moment and then he just went to use it. And I was like, man, that's probably making him really happy right now. Like he didn't really show it, because they're very stern, but I was like, man, for sure, this made his day, Yeah.
I remember those moments many times.
Absolutely. And I actually have to say, now that we're talking about it, I have the same thing. So like if I'm a little bit in like a very focused mode, I'm not the most friendly person. I'm not unfriendly, but I'm not necessarily like, hey, yeah, what's up? I'm just like, I just get on with it. And if I then go to a station, I start checking things and I taste the sauce and I'm like, say I'm tasting 3 sauces. I say, okay, yeah, you need add a little bit more lemon to this one. This one needs a little bit more salt. And then I taste the last one and I just turn around and leave. And the guy or the chef is like, does it taste good? I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't say it, but I'm thinking, I'm like, man, stop fishing for fucking compliments. If it's not good, I'm going to say something. All right.
Exactly. You want your dopamine kick or what? Huh?
Yeah. What you want me to do? You want to get your notebook out and I put another smiley sticker in it, or
Huh? You wanna like on your Instagram account or what?
you want me to send you a rose? You want me to give you a kiss on your mouth? Oh, we're horrible. Good thing that we're not in charge of people. Oh, wait.
I'm not. Yeah, and going back to this restaurant we were talking about, I even once got a refugee from that restaurant. Like my friend Luis from New York calls me, writes me, and he's like, yeah, I have this friend who is trapped in this place and has nowhere else to go. Could you take him in your place? And I was like, sure, no problem. And the guy writes me and he was like, when could be the earliest that I could move into your place? And I was tonight, if you want, like, I don't care. I have a room there. You can stay there. And the guy just took his things and walked out of the window of the Sagier's house. That's insane, man.
Man, that's insane. I saw that so many times.
He came with all these fresh stories because, these kind of places where they have 30 trainees per station, when you have so many people, you need to keep them doing something.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're going to have like a fucking kindergarten party, right? So you cannot, it has to be like, okay, there's nothing to do. Okay, let's find. So they would have to, and you get to see this a lot in these super high level restaurants, to take to dismantle the kitchen with screwdrivers every service twice a day, to clean everything and put it all back together, which makes absolute no sense. But I would also hear stories from people working there as actual workers, not trainees, that, man, exactly like I said, I have 16 guys and I have one fish to clean. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, of course. We've done this so many times. And for example, also in Japan, it was like that. And so in Japan, in the work culture, at least that's how I was told when I was there, you are not really allowed to leave before your superior does. So if your head chef is still there, you don't go home. If the head chef leaves, the sous chef is still there, you don't go home. He only leaves once the head chef leaves, and blah, 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 blah.
What is interesting, that I had, this is a complete different thing, but I have a friend that had this dachshunds,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, 6 or 7 of these. And they would have exactly the same, like a hierarchy for eating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And at some point, one of the dogs got, had an accident and went to the hospital. And when it came back, it lost its rank. It was not allowed to be the number 1 anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
No, that's really sad.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
That's okay. So these scenes of stagiaires leaving, those I love. It's really funny. We had that a few times at Mugaritz, where we'd be in the kitchen in the morning, drinking our shitty little instant coffee and getting ready to set out to drive to the restaurant in bulks. Cause you would get into cars and just fill the cars and just drive to the restaurant. And I remember we were sitting there just overworked and tired. And then this guy who'd just been there for 2 weeks, he was just storming out and he was like, fuck this. Fuck all of you. I've had enough. Fuck. And he would try to open the door, but the door was locked. And he was like, ah, shit. So he just threw his stuff out of the window next to the door and just climbed through the window. And he was gone. I don't know, because it was the countryside. I don't know where he went. Nobody drove him, that's for sure. So he must have walked down the hill and just left.
Yeah, I've seen a few of these crazy escapes. Once also a guy left and he left all his knives in the kitchen. You remember this place that we worked? I think we told this story already, did we? Where this guy, yeah, I think we told that story.
Yeah, I think we were Hannes.
Yeah, where he came back to take his stuff.
Yeah, he was ready for a fight.
Yeah, he was probably.
And we were like, hey, man. He was huffing and puffing. We were like, oh, hey, you're back. Your knives. And he's like, yeah, thanks.
Where is he?
Oh, man. Really? Honestly, man. I was talking about this with a friend of mine because we were talking about stressful situations because we both had a very stressful day that day. And we were like, why is it so stressful? It really doesn't have to be this stressful. We could just make good food, enjoy working together, and it should be a win-win situation. We make food for a living, Like, it's a fucking cool job. You know, it beats sitting in front of a computer the whole day. Most of the time. Depends what you do at the computer, but but it's a really cool job. Of course, pressure is good. Wanting to achieve something is good, but in a healthy way.
That's it for this week's episode of Potluck Food Talks. If you like what we're doing, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok as Potluck Food Talks. The show airs every Monday.